Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl, I'm a recovery coach at Capital Recovery Center. This is our all recovery meeting for the day. The article I have here is a complete guide to addiction recovery process. And it goes on to say, understanding addiction recovery. Addiction recovery is a transformative process that involves overcoming substance abuse or behavioral addictions and creating a healthier, fulfilling life. It encompasses a range of strategies, support systems, and therapeutic approaches to help individuals break free from the grip of addiction and maintain long-term sobriety. It says addiction recovery refers to the journey of healing and personal growth that individuals with addiction undertake to overcome their substance abuse or behavioral dependencies. It involves not only abstaining from the addictive behavior, but also addressing the underlying causes and making positive changes in various areas of life. And I think for me, and for a few others, I thought I just had a drug and alcohol problem. I was more focused on the substance. And today, since I've been in recovery, I understand and I'm aware that, I just don't have just a drug and alcohol problem. I have a me problem. And I have a lot of addictive behaviors, right? Negative thought patterns, right? The way I view myself and the way I think about others, is very distorted. So like I didn't focus on that a lot when I was out there and actually in early recovery until like I start to be more understanding and more aware of, it's just not just about the substance, it's about everything else, and addressing and understanding more of what's going on. It says recovery from addiction is a highly individualized process as each person's experiences, circumstances, and needs are unique. It requires commitment, perseverance, and a willingness to confront and address the challenges that arise along the way. Yeah, we have to confront and address what's going on with us and things that arise and will come along in this journey, in this process of recovery, because like life just doesn't stop, right? When we get clean, there's going to be ongoing challenges that life throws at us, right? And sometimes life gets harder, because I experience a lot of things that are unknown that I didn't experience in active addiction, right? New things arise but like I have a better way to cope with them, right? My solution today is not just going straight to the drugs and alcohol. That just made my life and my problems worse, until I accepted and surrendered that I had to do something different. My life has gotten way better, but understanding that drugs and alcohol is just not a solution today. It just adds to the problem and makes things worse. Just going forward in life and meeting life challenges and addressing it, not avoiding it, right? And actually dealing with life. It just, for me, it can be a sense of accomplishment, because I was the one that ran away, right? Or I would shut down, or I would avoid, right? And just not deal with my problems or my situations or my relationships, anything. It was always about me, right? I was focused on my emotions and feelings and what was going on with me. And, I never really addressed the root problem. And like, when I continued to do that, my life and actually my relationships got a lot better. It says importance of the recovery process. The recovery process is of a paramount importance in reclaiming one's life from clutches of addiction. It offers individuals the opportunity to rebuild their physical, mental, and emotional well-being, repair relationships, and rediscover a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Oh man, that was a great sentence. The recovery process is of the paramount importance of reclaiming one's life from the clutches of addiction. It offers individuals the opportunity to rebuild their physical, mental, and emotional well-being And that's something I try to do on a daily basis, man. I had to rebuild my life, and that's just not, like I said earlier, just putting drugs and alcohol down, but rebuilding my mental state, right? And physically start to feel better, right? And I just, the overall well being, right? I didn't focus on that, you know. In There's a periods of time that I stopped using drugs and alcohol, right? Because I went to treatment, or I was incarcerated, right? Or if I was in an institution, right? And there was a short period of times, I would be absent, right? And I was still left with me and the trauma and the damage that I've caused, right? So to focus on the mental, the physical, and the spiritual, and to dig deep and find out what the root cause is, I start to get better. Day by day, I start to get better, and I start to find my purpose. And I know for me, like people, when I first got in recovery, like people were experiencing a life, right? They were experiencing freedom, and they were living. We talk about the life behind the wildest dreams, and like, I just didn't see that for myself, because I was so isolated and I was so trapped in the guilt, the shame, and I was stuck in fear. And little by little, I started to free myself up from a lot of this stuff. I started to experience more freedom day by day, and I started to find my purpose in life. When I start to be more content with who I am, and what I've done in the past, right? I had to come to terms with that. I had to come to grips of like what I've done, right? And it was not nice, right? It was a crazy process when I was using, and but like I accepted and surrendered that, when I use drugs and alcohol, this is what my life consists of, right? I have lots of experience with using drugs and alcohol, and my past has shown that when I use, I lose, and that creates a lot of chaos in my life. But when I stop using drugs and alcohol, right, first thing, but it continued to work on myself, my life has gotten drastically better. So, I try to keep simplify it, like I don't let my past define who I am today. I don't stay stuck in my past. That's just not who I am. When I use drugs and alcohol, that's who I've become. But since I've been in recovery, it's just not who I am. I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm hardworking, I'm understanding most of the time, right? And like I'm a good person. I'm generally a good person. So like I keep it, kind of simple. This is who I am when I use, and this is who I can become without using drugs and alcohol. So I want to keep going forward. I don't want to go backwards. And having an awareness and understanding that I can't pick up or use any type of substance, right? And it's about changing my behaviors and the way I think and the way I behave. My life can get better. It says one crucial aspect of the recovery process is developing coping mechanisms and strategies to navigate life's challenges without turning to addictive substance or behaviors. See how it says substance or behaviors, right? It says through therapy, support groups, and self-reflection, individuals can gain insight into their triggers, learn healthier ways to cope with stress and emotions, and develop resilience in face of adversity. Yeah, man, we go through stressful things, man. We could like, I used to use drugs and alcohol for anything. It didn't matter if I was going through stress or frustration or whatever the case may be. I was filled with excuses, right? It was a good day, a bad day, or a day that I didn't agree with. I would use substance. So I have, and what recovery has also given me and my network of people, right? Through some therapy, support groups, and self reflection, like that was all excuses. I was full with excuses, and recovery has given me to eliminate all excuses, right? Because people that I know, right, are in my network and in a recovery, they eliminate excuses for me, because they're living life, right? They're going through grief, they're going through loss, they're going through many, many, many things, right? And they're staying clean. They're not using drugs and alcohol, and they're not using it as a solution today or think it's going to fix their problems. So like I surround myself with people that are doing the right thing for the right reasons and showing me. Like I grew up in recovery, because like I didn't face my challenges, my problems. I didn't face life, and I was stuck in denial, and I was not in reality. And so they showed me how to grow up and how to live life and to deal with life without using drugs and alcohol. So the recovery process is not a linear path, but rather a series of stages and milestones. It involves acknowledging the problem, seeking help and support, making lifestyle changes, and implementing relapse prevention strategies. It can require ongoing dedication and commitment to maintain sobriety and well-being. Yeah, it requires ongoing dedication and commitment. So um, that's definitely one of the strong suits in recovery. Like I have to be dedicated and I have to stay committed. There's no like end date for me in recovery. Like I get to this stage or to this year or to this milestone, and like the recovery journey stops. It just recovery doesn't work that way. I will struggle with life challenges, right? I will fall short. I will go through a lot of stuff in recovery. So like the recovery journey has to go on. I do the same things that I do today than I did in early recovery, plus more, right? So there's not an end date for the recovery process. So I have to continue to work on myself on a daily basis, and because I just want to get better. I just want to get better. There's new life challenges, and there's things that happen in life that I won't agree with, or I will need help with. There's no way I can go through this journey alone, and that's what I did and tried to for many, many years when I was in active addiction. I wanted to do things my way, when I wanted it, how I wanted it, right? One of the nature part of a disease of addiction is selfish and self-centeredness, right? And it's all about me, what I want, and it's hard to break that. That just doesn't go away. It just takes a daily reprieve. Every day I have to keep myself in check, right? And really think and do some self-reflection and see where I need help at and where I need work. And I have people that help me. I have support. I have, family and friends and healthy relationships today. And I have a sponsor and I have mentors and, I have people in my corner that will help me, direct me, and give me suggestions, and, show me a different perspective. Because by understanding the nature of addiction recovery and its significance, individuals can embark on this transformative journey with hope and determination. With the right support, resources, and personal motivation, addiction recovery can lead to a lifelong lasting sobriety, personal growth, and overall well-being. Says stages of addiction recovery. The journey of addiction recovery is a transformative process that involves several stages. These stages are crucial for individuals seeking to overcome addiction and regain control of their lives. In this section, we will explore three key stages of addiction recovery: acknowledging the problem, seeking help and support, and making lifestyle changes. And it goes on, acknowledging the problem. The first step towards addiction recovery is acknowledging that there is a problem. This stage requires individuals to recognize and accept the impact that addiction has on their lives. It involves admitting that substance abuse or addictive behaviors have become unmanageable and are negatively affecting their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Man, uh, that stays true with me. Like, my life was unmanageable. and it was affecting my physical, mental, and emotional well-being negatively. My life consists of using drugs and alcohol, and everything revolved around using, right? And I visited jail, I visited institutions, and I almost lost my life in the process of it. It was tough. Sorry about that. I'm trying. So like my life, I was self-destructive patterns. I was destroying myself one day at a time. And it was just nothing positive came out of me using drugs and alcohol. It ruined my life and it ruined everybody else's life behind around me. And it just I know for me that drugs and alcohol is not a solution today. I've been through that for many, many years, and it ruined my life. And thank God that I didn't lose my life in the process of it. It says acknowledging the problem. Wait, let's see. Seeking help and support. Once individuals acknowledge their addiction, the next stage is to seek help and support. Attempting to overcome addiction alone can be challenging and overwhelming. It is essential to reach out to professionals, support groups, and loved ones to receive the necessary guidance and assistance throughout the recovery process. There are various resources available to individuals seeking help, including addiction counselors, therapists, and support groups. These resources provide a safe and non-judgmental space for individuals to share their experience, gain insight, and receive encouragement from others facing similar challenges. Yet seeking help and support. So acknowledging the problem and then actually taking action and seeking help and support. We can acknowledge the problem and figure out what's going on, but to take action and find the help that we need. Because for me, I tried to like I had the problem, but I would try to seek my own solution, right? And that didn't work for me. That didn't work for me for many, many years. I became my own doctor. I became my own therapist. I try to help myself, and like I was just digging myself deeper and deeper. I had to seek professional help. And actually take the suggestions and take in what they're telling me and actually listen, right? And be not just listen to, but be willing to take in consideration what they're telling me and apply it to my life, right? There's steps to this stuff, and I can listen, right? But by listening, am I going to follow up with the action and to find the help that I need? It's two different things. Listening doesn't line up with action, right? I can listen and not do nothing about it, and I'm going to repeat the same cycle over and over again. So like, I had to listen, I had to understand, and I had to do something different this time. Action is a big part of recovery. And it took me many years to figure that out, right? And I was just not willing to take action. I wasn't willing to take responsibility for my life, and I always wanted things when I wanted it and how I wanted it, and just didn't care. I had no regard about nobody's life. I wasn't to. I wanted everything from nothing. Right? I wasn't willing to put in any effort into my life, my relationships, right, into any type of recovery. I was just not willing. So until this last time, I did something different this time. Making lifestyle changes. The final stages of addiction recovery involves making significant lifestyle changes. That this stage is about adopting new habits and behaviors that support a sober and healthy life. That includes breaking free from environments, relationships, and activities that may trigger addictive behaviors and replacing them with positive and constructive alternatives. Making lifestyle changes often involves establishing a supportive routine, creating a structured daily routine that includes healthy habits such as regular exercise, balanced meals, and significant sleep. Avoiding triggers, identifying and avoiding people, places, and situations that may trigger cravings or relapse. developing coping strategies, learning healthy coping mechanisms to deal with stress, anxiety, and other emotions without turning to substance or addictive behaviors, engaging in positive activities, finding new hobbies, interests, and social activities that promote personal growth and well-being. It says building supportive networks surrounding oneself with supportive and understanding individuals who encourage sobriety and provide a positive influence. By actively engaging in this process of addiction recovery, individuals can gradually make these lifestyle changes and create a solid foundation for long-term sobriety and well-being. It's important to remember that recovery is a personal and ongoing journey, and each individual path may vary. Yeah, everybody's path is different. My path might be different than your path, right? And that's okay, but we have to find something that does work for us, and life changes, right? We change, and by and engaging in some of these positive activities, like find new hobbies and interests, and some social activities, and find a support system and support groups. Just doing something different. That's what I had to do. Like I was repeating the same mistakes over and over again and doing the same stuff. I wasn't willing to do something different, and and my life consists of getting in trouble more and more and more. And I couldn't get out the loop of active addiction. I just couldn't understand why I kept on doing the same stuff, right? Because I wasn't willing to do something different, and I had to change my perspective. I had to change my mindset, right? I had to stop using drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of things that I had to do, and I must do to continue this journey in this process of recovery. It's just not a one size fit all. It's different for me, and it might be different for you. But like the journey continues, and we have to meet life challenges without using drugs and alcohol, and doing something different, something positive in life. And so that was our all recovery meeting for the day. My name is Carl, I'm a recovery coach at Cap Recovery Center. Until next time, we'll see you later.